So guys, just back again on this beautiful Saturday morning. Just finished my mile swim and day 13, no alcohol, and now I'm going to do some trauma releasing exercises, otherwise known as TRE. Please don't take this as an instruction. You should always receive instruction from a qualified instructor, and I'm definitely not a qualified accredited instructor of TRE. I just use it for my own sort of benefit, really. You can find out about trauma releasing exercises, TRE, at traumaprevention.com. And if you want the name of a great instructor, I can highly recommend Sharon Mullen in New South Wales, in Lismore, in Australia, and she does Skype, Zoom, the virtual internet stuff. So you can have a lesson at home over the internet. And basically, Sharon is one of the best in Australia, one of the best trainers in Australia. TRE, otherwise known as trauma releasing exercises, is a great way to release trapped trauma from your body. Trauma is basically a suppressed fight, flight, freeze response, or if you read Pete Walker, also fawn response, fawn, fight, flight, freeze. And these responses are basically our secondary survival response. Our primary is connecting with other people, receiving protection, tribal. But we can detect very quickly when that breaks down. It's not a conscious thing, the detection, it's a subconscious thing. It's got something to do with a nerve in your body called the ventral vagus nerve. And basically what happens is, if we detect someone as it potentially could be hostile towards us, for example, if they're not smiling, if they're just staring at us with a still face, then in tribal terms, primitive terms, that could lead to something nasty. So what we do is, we could either drop down into fawn, Pete Walker's fawn state. He wrote the book Complex PTSD, from surviving to thriving. It's brilliant. Drop down to a fawn state. Not everyone does. That's why we try and re-establish connection, maybe beg forgiveness, or apologize, or try and get things sorted out straight away. Or we can drop down into fight, which could range from mild irritability to a full-blown fight. No longer social when we're dropping into fight, obviously, and we can drop into flight, which is basically, we could be walking up and down in the kitchen, avoiding something, or full-blown flight out the door, driving 200 miles away. Fawn, fight, flight, or mobility responses, or we can drop down from there, or we can drop down directly from there, from our primary connection state. We can avoid the mobility responses. Some people do that and they go directly to an immobility response, which is the freeze response, otherwise known as shutdown, which can range from a full-blown faint and pooing yourself and weeing yourself. One from that variation is startle response. You've seen cats in the road, basically startled by headlights. The response there is basically just standing still, and hopefully we won't make the situation any worse. Now, as with the cats and the cars coming towards it, obviously the situation will get worse, which just goes to show you that these responses, fight, flight, fawn, fight, flight, freeze, there's no intelligence, there's no rationality behind them. They are instinctual. There's no intelligent. They're not intelligent responses. They're survival responses. They are physiological reactions. If someone goes into one of these responses, it's pointless trying to get a rational comment from them, because their intelligence has gone off the line, basically. If we're in one of these responses and we don't manage to shut it off within a couple of minutes, they tend to get stored as trapped trauma, or so they tend to get suppressed as a trapped shock in your body. They lead, if you have a lot of them, they lead to oxidative stress and inflammation, which is basically a result of an overactive immune system. And also too many oxidants in your body and not enough antioxidants in your body. For example, if you're burning too much glucose because you're always in an anxious state, you're going to produce a lot of oxidants, and this can lead to oxidative stress. Well, that's not the only thing that can lead to oxidative stress. There's many things that can lead to it. And if you have too many oxidants in your body, basically not enough cleaning antioxidants, that's toxic and it's not good. And chronic inflammation too is not good. Inflammation is an immune response, and chronic immune responses, chronic inflammation can manifest as depression, anxiety, and inflammatory conditions in the joints and what have you, in the gut, inflammatory bowel disease, irritable bowel, Crohn's, all this stuff. These are often, not always, but often a result of lots of trauma, lots of fight, freeze responses, fawn responses, trapped in the body because they haven't been released. How do you release them, by the way? Well, sorry, a bit thirsty. I do apologise. A bit thirsty after a long swim. How do you release them in the moment? Well, as children in particular, where we pick up a lot of our trauma, we're supposed to get hugs, told, it's not our fault and it's going to be okay, especially when we're little. But often that doesn't happen, and because our parents might not know what to do, or might not know that we're actually in a trauma state. And we're quite resilient as humans. We can take quite a bit of trauma, but if you've got an overly critical parent, or a physically abusive parent, or a parent that's just not around, or a drunken parent, or whatever, this causes a lot of shock in a child's body, a lot of fawn, flight responses, freeze responses that get suppressed. And so basically the child can sometimes the body will tremor, shake and cry, and that's one way of releasing shock. We're told in our culture not to cry, but we should cry because that's releasing shock. It's a healthy thing, it's a beautiful thing actually. Another way to release it is by allowing the body to shake. Animals do this. Have you ever seen a horse or a zebra? When they're frightened or startled, they'll shake, won't they? And that's releasing the shock, the trapped fight and flight responses. But often in our culture, especially in the West, we're told to sit still as children, not to move. That's quite sad, really, because we are supposed to be able to shake off our trauma. And you might see people on the bus or on the train, and they're sort of bouncing the leg up and down, basically, and they seem to be doing it sort of without any sort of conscious awareness. That's basically a way of releasing shock. So, the body's just trying to vent some shock out of conscious awareness. So what I'm doing today is I'm doing trauma releasing exercises, and a part of it is I'm going to activate a tremor in my body, and the tremor is going to help release the shock. And to help activate the tremor, I do a wall sit like this, and the muscles begin to twitch in my body, in my legs, because this is where the tremor is going to start, and it might go through my body. I might start crying or laughing, giggling, or exhaling loudly, and that's okay because that's all part of it, really. That's normal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just set us off over here and go on my mat, and you're going to lie down, and hopefully it should work out all right. But please don't take this as instruction. Like I said, contact Sharon Mullen if you want a great instructor for TRE. So basically, the reason why you shouldn't take this as instruction is because you might have injuries, and I'm not an instructor. So someone like Sharon Mullen, they would be. Now you see these movements. I'm not consciously doing that. This is outside of my conscious reach. I can consciously put myself in a position where this will start, and I can consciously put myself in a position where it'll stop, like that. But once I'm in the position again, the tremoring starts, and it's sort of like passing over to automatic pilot, really. You're passing over to your physiology, passing control over to your physiology.
It's quite nice actually. It's quite a pleasant feeling. It's not tiring. I'm tired. If I do say I'm tired, it's because I've just done a long swim. And you see that? That's just my body just releasing shock there. The thinking is, it's sort of your body's simulating fight and flight responses. Look, see. Fight and flight responses. Just let them, they've been suppressed for a while. My body wants to do that for some reason. And they've been suppressed for a while, and this just allows them a channel just to escape, really. My body just wants to lie like that for a bit. That's usual. Big exhales are a sign that shock has been released. It's not usual to pass wind either. So I do apologise if I pass wind. It's very nice. Not passing wind, I mean theory. So this is sort of my body just doing its thing. If you get a chance to watch a video about your body doing its thing, watch the McGurk effect, M-C-G-U-R-K, M-C-G-U-R-K, the McGurk effect. It sort of demonstrates how your body does its own thing, really. It's very good. It's on YouTube. It's very interesting. That might be a fight response releasing itself. Imagine this, sort of 2,000 years ago, someone doing this. You'd probably be put away for being insane or possessed, wouldn't they? It's just your body just releasing shock. That's all it is. It's just an alternative to crying. That's all it is. That feels so nice. Feels very pleasant. Right, I'm going to do some Wim Hof breathing now. I'm going to do some Wim Hof breathing. That's how you stop theory, basically. You just put your legs down. I'm going to do some Wim Hof breathing. I'm not going to demonstrate that though, because you need to have accredited instruction. But what we'll do is, after I've done, I'm going to listen to Wim Hof. I've been following Wim Hof now for about a week and a half. And it's absolutely brilliant. And I never thought you could actually experience such intense peace, authentic peace. It feels like I've had a Valium actually. I haven't, and it's just like incredible technique, Wim Hof. If you're interested in it, it's very calming, deeply calming. If you're interested in it, Wim Hof method. Okay, I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to come back at the end of that, and I'm going to hold my breath. And one of the techniques is hold your breath and see how many press-ups you can do. So I'll do that when I come back. All right then. Cheers.